Have you ever looked back at a snap decision and thought, what was I thinking?
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe you've planned out a big project, felt absolutely certain, it'd be done in a week,
Mm.
and then just watched it spiral into a month or two or even 3.
Been there,
I
definitely.
know I have, more times than I care to admit. It turns out our minds, well, they operate with some really fascinating, often hidden shortcuts.
That's exactly right. Those shortcuts are key.
All right, let's really dig into this today. We're doing a deep dive into the groundbreaking work of Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize winner.
And specifically, his huge book, Thinking Fast and Slow.
Exactly. For those of you who know Kahneman, you'll recognize his big idea.
Yeah.
Our minds aren't just one thing. They're kind of running 2 distinct programs.
System 1 and System 2.
Yeah. If you're new to this, think of System 1 as like your mind's rapid-fire, intuitive, automatic response. Instinct.
The gut feeling.
Right. And System 2, that's your slower, more deliberate, analytical side. The careful planner.
Takes effort.
So our mission here is to give you a shortcut, ironically, to understanding these systems. Where they shine, where they lead us astray.
And how recognizing that interplay can spark those aha moments about your own thinking.
Yeah, we want you to feel, less overwhelmed by all the info out there and more quick to think critically.
Which is crucial today.
What's really captivating, I think, is understanding how these 2 systems interact. They aren't always working together smoothly, are they?
Not at all. Getting a handle on that dynamic is absolutely key to unlocking smarter thinking.
So tell us more about that dynamic.
Well, it's precisely that dynamic Kahneman unpacks so brilliantly. He describes System 1 as quick, emotional, largely unconscious.
The sprint.
Exactly. It's the mental sprint, letting you recognize a familiar face instantly or slam on the brakes in traffic without even thinking.
Life-saving stuff sometimes.
Absolutely. It's incredibly efficient for those immediate decisions, and frankly, it runs most of our daily thought processes.
But there's a catch.
There's a catch. While it's blazing fast, it's also quite prone to systematic errors, to biases.
Okay, so what about the other one? System 2.
System 2, by contrast, is your brain's deep thinker. Needs focus, needs effort.
The mental marathon.
That's a great way to put it. It's the slower logical processor you use for, say, a complex math problem or meticulously comparing insurance plans.
Right, or weighing the pros and cons of a really big life decision.
Precisely.
So if System 1 is so dominant, so quick, but also, like you said, error-prone, what stops System 2 from jumping in more often to correct things?
That's the crux of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's fascinating and maybe a bit scary is how often those quick, intuitive thoughts from System 1 just get a free pass.
Really?
System 1 proposes answers, feelings, intuitions, and System 2, which Kahneman calls rational but lazy.
Lazy, I like that.
Yeah. It frequently just endorses these answers without thorough checking.
Wow.
It's like System 1 shouts out a suggestion confidently. In System 2, rather than doing the hard work of verification, often just shrugs and goes, yep, sounds good to me.
Without really digging in.
Exactly. Without bothering to truly verify. Think about it in your own life. How often do you feel that strong gut feeling?
All the time.
Versus those moments you really truly slow down, deliberate, weigh every angle.
Much rarer.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's almost unsettling how much seems to happen on autopilot.
It is.
But like you said, that super fast System 1, for all its power, has blind spots. It's like a fast car that sometimes just veers off course.
And you don't even notice it happening. Those veering off course moments. That's what Kahneman mapped out as cognitive biases.
Okay.
Or mental shortcuts, he calls them heuristics.
Heuristics, right.
And these aren't just random mistakes, they're systematic errors. They come from our brain trying to simplify a massively complex world.
Makes sense. Can you give us some examples?
Sure. Take anchoring. It's honestly astonishing how a completely arbitrary number,
Like any number.
any number, even one you know is irrelevant, can anchor your thinking. It subtly pulls your later decisions towards it.
How does that work in practice?
Well, imagine you're at a flea market. The seller starts super high on an old lamp price.
Okay.
Any slightly lower offer they make after that immediately feels more reasonable.
Right. Even if it's still way too high.
Exactly. That first high price set an unconscious anchor. You're reacting to the anchor, not the actual value.
I've totally fallen for that. You feel like you got a deal, but really.
You just got anchored. Another big one is the availability heuristic.
Okay, what's that? Thinking something's more common than it is.
Spot on. We overestimate the likelihood of things that are easy for us to recall, especially if they're vivid or emotionally charged.
Like Plane crashes.
Perfect example.
Ah.
After a big, highly publicized crash, lots of people suddenly feel much more anxious about flying,
Yeah, I can see that.
even though statistically flying is incredibly safe,
Mm.
safer than driving, usually. But the dramatic news coverage makes that crash so available, so salient in our minds, it completely distorts our perception of the actual risk.
Wow. Okay, what else?
Then there's substitution. This one is kind of insidious.
Insidious. How so?
When we're faced with a really difficult, complex question, our system one unconsciously swaps it out for an easier related question and then answers that one instead
Without us realizing.
without us realizing.
Yeah.
So if someone asks you, overall, how happy are you with your life? That's a hard question.
Yeah, that's big.
Your system one might subtly switch it to, how happy do I feel right now? And you answer that easier current mood question. You think you've answered the big question, but you haven't.
Whoa. That's like a mental sleight of hand. We think we're being deep.
But we're taking the mental shortcut without knowing it.
Okay, and you mentioned one more. Representativeness. That sounds like stereotyping.
It's very related, yes. Representativeness is when we judge based on how well something or someone fits a particular category or stereotype we hold. And we often completely ignore the base rates, the actual statistical probabilities.
Give me an example.
Okay, the classic Kahneman example.
Yeah.
Imagine someone described as quiet, organized, loves puzzles.
Okay. Sounds like a librarian.
That's the intuitive jump. System one says librarian, but statistically, there are vastly more farmers in the world than librarians.
Oh, right.
So, probability-wise, it's actually more likely they're a quiet, organized farmer who happens to love puzzles. But they don't fit the stereotype as well.
That really makes you think.
It forces you to ask, right?
Yeah.
How many of our daily judgments are truths about people, news, everything?
Mhm.
How much is shaped by these subtle shortcuts?
It's a striking observation. It really shakes your faith in common sense if it's so easily swayed by System 1.
Exactly.
And Kahneman points out something even more, well, insidious perhaps, that this fast thinking often leaves us dangerously overconfident.
Absolutely. That's a huge part of it. He has this brilliant quote. Let me see. We are prone to overestimate how much we understand about the world and underestimate the role of chance. This overconfidence pops up in several ways. One really relatable one is the planning fallacy.
Oh, I think I know this one. Underestimating how long things take.
Precisely. It's our consistent tendency to underestimate the time, costs, risks of future actions.
Even when we know better.
Even when we have clear past experiences showing similar projects went way over schedule or over budget.
Guilty as charged.
It's incredibly relevant if you manage projects or honestly, even just plan your week. Last time it took longer, but
This time will be different.
that's the planning fallacy whispering in your ear. Exactly.
I swear I hear that whisper every Monday morning. I once budgeted like an hour for a quick podcast edit.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's just say System 1 was wildly optimistic, stretched into 3 hours. Easily.
Happens all the time.
So what does this mean for our own planning? Are we just doomed to always get it wrong?
Not doomed, no. But recognizing the bias is the critical first step. And it's not just us individuals. Kahneman notes that even experts fall prey to this. They might rely on flawed intuition instead of solid data,
Right.
leading them to be overconfident in their predictions, even when the evidence doesn't really support their gut feeling.
So expertise isn't a magic shield against these biases.
Not at all. It's a powerful reminder for everyone.
Fascinating. Okay, so System 1 gives us biases, makes us overconfident. How does this mess with our actual choices? Especially when feelings about gains and losses come in.
Now we're getting into Kahneman's Nobel Prize-winning work with Amos Tversky, prospect theory.
Okay, prospect theory.
And here's the real kicker. We are fundamentally wired to feel the pain of a loss far more intensely than the pleasure of an equivalent gain.
More pain from losing than pleasure from winning the same amount.
Much more. Kahneman famously said losses loom larger than gains. This is loss aversion.
Loss aversion.
It means we fear losing, say, $100 far more than we value gaining $100. It's not symmetrical. The psychological punch of a loss is way bigger.
That is a truly profound insight. It's not just the facts, but how we feel about them.
Precisely. And that leads directly into the framing effect.
Framing, like how you present the information.
Exactly. How options are presented or framed significantly influences our choices, even if the underlying outcomes are identical.
Can you give an example?
The classic one is medical treatments. Imagine choosing between two options.
Okay.
Option A is described as having a 90% survival rate.
Sounds good.
Option B is described as having a 10% mortality rate.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
But they're the exact same outcome. 90% survive means 10% don't.
Oh, wow.
Yet people overwhelmingly prefer the treatment framed in terms of survival because mortality triggers that powerful loss-averse emotional reaction in System 1.
So the wording completely changes the choice, even with the same facts.
Completely. And if you connect this to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
think about marketing, politics.
Oh, yeah. Emphasizing potential gains or warning about potential losses.
It subtly steers our decisions all the time, often without us realizing it. Being aware of how choices are framed in your life is, well, it's incredibly illuminating.
That's a powerful takeaway. Just because information is factually the same, the emotional frame changes everything.
It really does.
And Kahneman also dives into something a bit more philosophical, but still practical, this idea of two selves.
Yes, the distinction between our experiencing self and our remembering self.
Okay.
And he gives another great quote here. Nothing in life is as important as you think it is while you are thinking about it.
Tell me about these two selves.
Okay, so your experiencing self is the one living right now in the present moment, feeling real-time happiness, discomfort, joy, pain.
The now self.
Exactly. It feels the sun on your skin, the taste of coffee, the stress of a deadline. It's all about the immediate experience.
Got it. And the remembering self.
The remembering self is the storyteller. It creates the narratives about our experiences.
Yeah, the one that looks back.
Right. And crucially, it doesn't just record everything like a video camera. It focuses on the peaks, the best moments, the worst moments, and very importantly, the ending of an experience.
The ending matters a lot.
Yeah, hugely. And it's this remembering self, this storyteller, with its edited highlights, that makes decisions about our future actions.
Wait, so our memories aren't a faithful record, they're edited, and that's what drives future choices.
Pretty much, yeah. It's almost unsettling, like you said.
Give us an example of how this plays out.
Kahneman uses examples from his research, like imagine a vacation that was actually quite painful or difficult for large parts,
Okay.
but it ends on a really high note, a fantastic last day. That vacation is often remembered more positively, and you might even choose to repeat it,
Really?
compared to a vacation that was mostly pleasant, quite nice overall, but had a really bad ending.
Wow, so the bad ending ruins the memory of the good parts.
The remembering self gives disproportionate weight to the ending. It dominates our choices. We might pursue things that promise a good story or a good ending.
Even if the actual moment-to-moment experience, the experiencing self, isn't that great.
Exactly. It shows our memory isn't passive, it's an active editor. And that editor holds huge sway over our future.
That's an incredible insight. The storyteller in my head might not be telling the whole truth about my happiness.
It's definitely something to reflect on, how it impacts your view of the past, your plans, your pursuit of happiness itself.
So after all this, System 1, System 2, biases, overconfidence, framing, these two selves, what does it all mean for us, for you, the listener, trying to navigate the world?
Well, it boils down to some core insights and, importantly, some actionable strategies.
Okay, let's hear them. What can we actually do?
The biggest one, actively engage System 2. Pause. Slow down. Especially when decisions are important or have high stakes.
Don't just run on autopilot.
Exactly. Don't let System 1 rush you. Second, consciously challenge anchors.
Be aware of those starting numbers.
Yes, notice them. Ask yourself if they're relevant. Try to ignore them or find different starting points for comparison. Get a fresh perspective.
Okay.
Distrust availability. Just because something is vivid in your mind, maybe from the news.
Plane crash example.
Right. That doesn't mean it's frequent or likely. Look for actual data, not just compelling stories or anecdotes.
Seek out the stats. Got it.
And this is huge for everyone. Plan realistically. Fight that planning fallacy.
Build in buffer time?
Definitely. Actively anticipate delays, extra costs, potential risks. Know that your System 1 is probably being way too optimistic. Add a cushion. Good advice, especially for Mondays.
Yes. Also, to counter the framing effect, try to reframe choices.
Look at it from different angles.
Exactly. Before deciding, consciously look at the options presented differently. How does it feel framed as a potential loss versus a potential gain? It helps you see past the initial presentation.
Smart. Makes you less manipulable.
It does.
Yeah.
And finally, maybe a more reflective point. Value real experiences.
The experiencing self. Yeah, Don't let the need for a good story from your remembering self completely overshadow your actual lived present happiness. Sometimes the journey itself is what matters, not just the photo finish.
That's a really valuable cheat sheet. So let me try to quickly recap.
Go for it.
System 1, fast, intuitive, emotional, but biased. System 2, slow, deliberate, analytical, but lazy.
Good summary.
Biases like anchoring, availability, representativeness, substitution, they distort our thinking without us noticing.
Okay.
We're usually overconfident, especially in planning. That's the planning fallacy. Loss aversion means we hate losing more than we like winning. Framing affects how we choose based on presentation, not just facts.
Spot on.
And our memory, the remembering self, isn't the same as our real-time experience, and it heavily influences our future choices.
You've got it.
So the big takeaway is slow down, question your gut feelings sometimes, look at the data, and be aware of these mental traps.
That's the essence of it. Powerful stuff.
What a truly profound deep dive into Kahneman's thinking fast and slow. Understanding these mental shortcuts, this interplay of system 1 and 2, it really can change how you make decisions, plan things, even how you think about happiness.
It absolutely can. And maybe a final thought for you to mull over.
Okay.
Given how much our remembering self shapes our future choices, how might we deliberately cultivate more positive endings in our daily experiences, even small ones?
To improve the memory.
Exactly. To potentially influence our future happiness and the decisions we make based on those perhaps slightly curated memories. Something to think about.
That is a wonderful question to ponder. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Go forth and be a little more mindful of your two systems in action.